Welcome to Gray Overload. And Intel's Pat Gelsinger is stepping down, the CEO of Intel, and there's two co-CEOs that are being announced or here right now, and they've formed a committee to find their next CEO. So the co-CEOs really don't matter much in the short term unless the board head is being nefarious here and just putting them in charge for something else like a selling off of parts or something like that. I don't think the Intel board is doing that. They do have restrictions based upon money that they've taken from the United States government and what they can do and how they can sell and what ownership there's required for them, all that other stuff. What I do think, though, in this is that Pat Gelsinger was pushed out, basically fired. And I think the conversation with the board pretty much was, well, you have a couple options here, Pat. We want these things. You either accept them and you're still CEO, or you will be fired, or you get to retire if you don't like it. So here's your options, and Pat took the retirement route. Now, there's been some other stuff out there. I've read where for someone from TSMC said that Pat was uh, not going to be the one where he's, in his age to be able to do the change that is needed at Intel to make them, where they need to go. And if Pat was dedicated, which I think he was, I don't think that the age has anything to do with it because we've seen many successful, entrepreneurs, especially later on in life, create so many good businesses, or many different good businesses uh, in their later years. So I don't really think that's it, right? If you have a passion for something, you're going to be driven for it. You're going to want to do good and be able to create that business. I think that this is, comes down to kind of how Intel's been performing as of late. And the turnaround hasn't been as impressive as Pat and Intel have kind of put forward. Intel has, debt that it has to address that from different companies it has bought, Mobileye, Altera, etc. And that's not being addressed. At the same time, the company's growth has stalled out. I would put it there. AMD is going after it. They're trying to break into different markets with their GPU, and then AI is, you know, a dot on a page for Intel. It's not really a major thing for Intel, and I think the board, where is looking at that AI part of it and being like, where is that in your portfolio? We need to get on top of this, and you had a chance with firing a whole bunch of people here, Pat, and everything else, and now we're here. Right now, we have two people in charge for co-CEOs, and one's a CFO guy, and then there's a gal that is head of the product side. So we'll see how that. I think that's just going to be stringing along the company until they get their new CEO. I'd expect them within the next month or so to have somebody kind of lined up. If that goes on longer than that, that does get a little concerning to me about what Intel's path is, because if you form the search committee, 4 to 6 weeks is kind of where I put this in, where something should be resolved here. And if you are going through and you have a plan, the board has a plan of what they want. About 4 to 6 weeks, you should be able to find somebody that you think can continue on your vision as the board of where Intel needs to go. If it takes longer than that, I have a question on if the board knows what they want out of Intel. That is the concerning part, especially if you are an investor, as it takes longer for Intel to get that CEO, for the board to really find out who that should be. You kind of start looking at it like, does the board itself know exactly what they want out of a CEO and where the guidance is? And I don't know if Intel knows that. So we will see how this all unfolds here. One thing's for sure is they can't bring back the damage that has already been done with the layoffs that have already happened. Now, it seems to be for financial reasons they had to do all these layoffs. And when different rumors come out of different groups of different projects being demolished, being destroyed here, like Royal Core and everything else like that. Is this something that would bring those projects back? I don't know. It depends upon, like, if these people that they fired are part of these groups and are good, smart people, I'm sure they got picked up at other companies for jobs. And would you be willing to come back to Intel after that? Every firing has, every layoff has its negatives, right? If you grow too fast and you have to do that, or for finance or whatever everything else, that is not a good thing at all. It's I consider it as last ditch resort, trying to save your company, because you're losing morale, right? And you have to gain that back over time. It's not just instant. So there are negatives to this, but here, CEOs, I don't think are as negative, but you got to have somebody that's leading the helm, and all those, core people that were developing stuff are gone. And how are you going to get those back? Are you going to focus in graphics still? These are things that are in questions, right? You got Battle Mage that is coming here, right? Battle Mage. I can't remember all Intel's code names. That was all announced today. A lot of that stuff, not everything there, but the ARC B570s there. So it'll be interesting for this, of what's being able to be come out from Intel, and what products that they will focus on, what pathways they will focus on, and how to be able to then address their customers with products that they need. This may give Intel an opportunity to be able to understand and be able to innovate a little bit past where they're already at. I will be curious to see. One interesting aspect to all this is, are they going to bring in more of a technical guy, or are they going to bring more of a financial guy? If they have kind of like a business guy over it, I would consider that maybe more technical side of things, right? Somebody that's willing to look just at the numbers, a financial guy, or somebody that's more of a uh, technical person and stuff like that. Think of it like a Lisa Sue, more technical side of it. Think of a Jensen, more technical side of it. Or even Pat, he was an engineer coming up, but before that, I'm blanking on the Intel CEO, financial guy, right? And you can kind of tell where the company's going to go based upon that for a little bit, right? They got to get their fabs right. Their fabs are, something, they've gotten money from the United States government for this. They got to get them right, and they got to get them making money, and have a positive, income stream on that. So that's going to be one thing that the CEO is going to have to address, and also being able to get out architectures on both CPU, GPU, AI, wherever you're at, FPGA. That is going to be able to compete in the market and not stop bleeding so much from everything else is there. So that's what they're going to have to do and have to address. It is interesting to see, but those are some of my thoughts on Intel CEO stepping down, retiring, or being fired, however you want to put it, being pushed out, whatever you want to say there. And let me know your thoughts are on Intel. What would you like to see in the next CEO? Would you like the financial person? Would you like a technical person? What would you like to see, and what would you like them to address when they go into Intel? And leave it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon, watch another of my videos, as it really does help out the channel. Until next time, God bless.